Welcome to the Pathfinder report. Today we're going to be talking about EOTech Sights. And you know, with EOTech they offer a lot of different models, a lot of different options, and hopefully today we can explain some of those differences and help you understand which EOTechs to be the best for you. We're going to be looking today at one of my own personal rifles. This is kind of my go-to rifles, the one I have just out here on my property. And you know, all my other rifles I keep locked up in a safe, but this is the rifle I have as kind of a ready access for coyotes or just whatever kind of critters you might come around that I'm looking for a rifle. And on this I have the EOTech 517. So let's get a little bit closer look and give you an idea of the different variances in the EOTechs and which ones did work out best for you. Okay, let's take a closer look at these EOTech. Like I said before, this is the 517, just on my personal rifle. And you know, with EOTechs, there is absolutely nothing better for fast, accurate shooting, like a close quarter battle type, self-defense, tactical shooting. There is just nothing faster to put you on target and make it easier for you to shoot accurately. Experienced shooters, novice shooters, doesn't matter what your skill level is, the EOTech is going to make you a better shot. Now, if you've looked at EOTechs online or even on the EOTech website, which I have to say I think is really, they could do a better job with explaining their product. I've been associated with EOTech now kind of since the beginning of EOTech, and I just think it'd be easy. There's a lot to know. And hopefully with this video I can break that down for you and explain some of these things and make it easier for you to pick out the best EOTech for you. There's going to be four main categories of EOTech sights that you need to understand. There's these newer ones like the 517, and you'll always hear these models, the 517, the 557. Let me explain that to you. There's these four categories. There's the 550 series, the 510 series, and then there's the XPS 3 series and the XPS 2 series. Now the 550 series and the XPS 3 are night vision compatible. They're going to have a little button on there that allows you to push it, and it super dims the reticle for use with night vision devices like a PVS 14 or PVS 7s. Now, the thing to remember, unless you're in the military or you're on a SWAT team or some other type of like special ops law enforcement team, you're probably not going to have access to night vision. Now, you can buy it yourself. It's going to run you about $3,000 or $4,000, and if you're going to do that, then you want the night vision compatible EOTechs. You want an XPS 3 or a 550 series, like a 556 or a 557 or a 553, something like that that's going to allow you to use that night vision in conjunction with it. If not, if you don't have access to night vision, you're never going to spend the $3 or $4 grand to get it. There's no reason paying the extra money to get that feature in your EOTech. Buy one of the 510 series, like this 517 or the 516 or the older 512, or one of the newer XPS 2 models. So the XPS 2 and the 510 series are not night vision compatible, and the XPS 3 and the 550 series are night vision compatible. Now, besides those four categories, let's take a look at the next biggest differentiation in EOTechs is batteries. 517 takes AA batteries. You see the battery compartment here. It is super easy to change out the batteries. You have your choice between AA and the CR123 lithium batteries. AA batteries are going to give you about 600 hours of life. They're great because they're cheap and you can find them anywhere. Your local 7-Eleven, Walmart, doesn't matter where, you're going to be able to find some AA batteries. The 123 lithiums are going to give you about 1,000 hours of continuous use. But the drawback to them is they're more expensive. And so, you know, you really just need to play it as to which one you're interested in or what's going to work best for you. The one drawback to the AA's is they don't give you as much battery life, and they're bigger. You can see on my rifle here how much of the rail is taken up by the EOTech. You know, there's barely room on there for your backup iron sight, and it actually even is hanging over the delta ring there. And so you can see that with the AA models do take quite a bit more rail space on your firearm, and the 123s are shorter, and the XPS models are even shorter, so they take up the least amount of space. It's a good option, especially if you are going to mount a night vision device or the magnifier, which is going to bring us to another aspect that you need to understand with EOTechs is they don't provide any magnification at all. They are basically designed for keeping both eyes open and quick, accurate shooting. They're not designed for real long range shooting. Now, can you hit targets at long range? Sure you can. I've talked with some Army Special Forces guys that, you know, they were hitting pop-up targets at 500 yards on their pop-up range. But without the magnification, it's hard for you to find a target 500 yards away, let alone hit it. EOTechs are mainly designed for combat type shooting, tactical shooting up close, you know, say out to 100 yards, 150 yards. A lot of, I'd say, just regular shooters bought EOTechs or are buying EOTechs, and then they're a little bit disappointed when they go to their 100-yard rifle range and they're trying to shoot bullseyes at 100 yards. Well, you can't see them. And the thing I tell people about EOTechs is if you can see the target, you can shoot it, but it's not going to bring it any closer to you or help you find a partially concealed target the way a regular scope with magnification is going to. For self-defense shooting, for tactical shooting, law enforcement, military use, I just can't say enough good about EOTech Sights, or EOTech as a company for that matter. You know, about a year ago, I was doing some active shooter training with a law enforcement department here in Utah, and one of their officers, we were using the simunition rounds. One of the officers, while we were in the high school doing this active shooter training, actually, and I know that, you know, this was just sound cliche because a lot of you have read this on EOTech site, but I actually saw the experience where the front lens of his EOTech, just turned around here so you can see one. The front lens up here actually got hit with a simunition round, and it shattered it. Now, it didn't break out. It was kind of like a car windshield. When it gets hit, it just kind of shattered. Well, you would think he was out of the fight. No, he wasn't. The EOTech still worked. I mean, you were still able to see the reticle. He was still able to engage targets and finish out the rest of the day using this EOTech, even though the front window of it, if you will, was kind of spider webbed. And I told him, you know what, I am absolutely sure the EOTech will fix that for you. So he called him up, and sure enough, they fixed it for him at no charge, got it shipped right back out to him. He got it back on his rifle. Absolutely no problems. You know, you can't find too many companies out there that just stand behind their product that way. It wasn't defective in any way. It actually just got damaged, you know, when that sim round hit it. And they fixed it at no charge. You just can't beat that kind of customer service. So I'm a huge believer in EOTechs. I absolutely love them. Now, of course, everything has its drawbacks. First of all, EOTechs are expensive. I would say that's the only drawback to an EOTech is it's expensive. It's not really designed for just for fun or that type of thing. These are combat grade optics, and that's what they're made for, and so you're going to pay extra for that, because literally I could take this thing off my gun, I could throw it, put it back on, it's going to hold zero, and it's going to work. These things just take a huge amount of abuse and keep on working, but you know that easily you're going to pay $500-600 for an EOTech at the current prices. Is it worth it? Yes, for sure. If your life depends on you being able to actively engage targets, there's just nothing better. They are battery operated. If your battery dies, you are out of luck. You need to hurry and change batteries. The great thing about them is you can use it. Your iron sights, you can co-witness. And so if your battery was to die or something like that, you know, that you could still use your weapons, you can still use your iron sights through the EOTech. Not a big problem there. And it is, like I showed you, it's so easy to replace the batteries that you can do it in 30 seconds. I'd say the other thing to consider, and this is just a consideration, it's not a drawback, it's just a consideration, is no magnification. That's something that you need to know, is that and especially, I hate to use this word, but for amateur shooters or people who are just getting into tactical weapons and shooting, a lot of people want something with magnification, and then they spend $600 on an EOTech because that's what they see everybody on CNN carrying, the guys in Iraq and Afghanistan, and on the SWAT guys, and then they're disappointed with it because, just like I said, they're shooting bullseyes at 100 yards, 150 yards, and they're not able to see the target, and then they feel like they've spent $600 on something that doesn't work for them. Again, EOTechs are combat grade optics. They're designed for tactical type shooting, and they're not going to give you that magnification. Now, you can get magnifiers for them, but I'm going to do another video on magnifiers, and where we have more time to talk just about the pros and cons of using the magnifiers. But I hope that this has explained the EOTechs to you a little bit better. I do want to get you a shot of the reticle itself so that you can see it, what it looks like. And I'm going to get this lined up here, and we'll be right back and give you a shot of what the reticle looks like. Okay, I've moved inside one of my garages here to get a better idea of what the reticle looks like through the window of the EOTech. Now, the EOTech reticle is bright enough to be out in sunlight. I could see it perfect outside where we were at earlier, but I moved in here because the camera just wasn't picking it up very good. So I moved in here to give you, a better view of what it looks like. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of moving this camera around. Of course, like you're going to be, you can move your head around behind the EOTech, and you'll notice that the reticle appears to move in on that window. And a lot of people, they experience that and they say, well, it moves all over. How's it going to stay on the target? But if you'll notice, the reticle is staying right basically on the same spot, and we're a little bit short, but at about anywhere beyond about 30 yards, you put that reticle on the target and you can move your head around, but it stays exactly on the target, kind of like we are now. You'll see it seems to be moving all over, but if you notice, the reticle is actually staying centered right there on the bottom of that garage door, right there, just off the right side of that silver bracket coming down. And you'll notice that it never moves, even as I move. Imagine your eye moving behind the gun, and that was your target. You see, it stays perfectly on target. And like I said, if we were a little bit farther away, it would even be more precise at staying there. But I hope this has given you a good idea of what the EOTech can do for you, and also explain the different variations of EOTech sights that are out there, and help you gain a better understanding so that you can pick the right EOTech for you. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Pathfinder Report. Check back with us as we review and check out some of the best gear out there. Take care. We'll see you next time.